The shot misses. Carolina. Hey, what do you say?
Talkin' Sauce, episode 9.
Dude, the nines, bro.
Mrs. Bueller, your son's been absent 9 times. I don't remember him being absent 9 times. Sorry, what do you think of that? Episode 99, boys. We made it.
We made it, dude. We're almost, huge milestone.
Huge milestone.
Great milestone.
Right before a bigger milestone of Triple Digis 100 on the way next. Should do something big for it.
We
Have
should.
nothing planned for it.
Absolutely nothing.
We don't know what we're going to replace the player shout-out bit with.
Nope.
All of it to come to a podcast near you.
Yeah, check it out next week. See what happens. But
See ya. This has been
we're
episode
not
99.
gonna put it out.
This has been Talkin' Sauce.
This has been Talkin' Sauce. Boys, how are we doing on this gloomy, doomy Sunday afternoon?
Dude, all in all, not terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Could be
Not
worse.
terrible, Could be worse. About
Could
you,
be
Dylan?
worse.
I straight up woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, but like it's all good.
Yeah, I feel you though. I woke up real angry this morning, like early and pissed off. I don't know what it was.
Let me tell you, man. I went to last night. I was mad. I was just mad and angry at nothing.
Dude, I literally
A lot of external factors, but I was pissed yesterday.
I woke up, I took a shower and shit. I was just like, dude, I just gotta you know what I'm saying? Like Lexi was over. I was like, I don't even want to bring this energy. We both just woke up.
Facts. Straight up, I hadn't gamed in a few days, and Chad was hitting me up to play some Tarkov, and I didn't want to because
I knew it would piss you off.
Well, just not that it would piss me off, but I would think I was gonna piss everyone else off because you just played a couple bites. I'm not even gonna bring y'all down.
Yeah.
Y'all do you without me today.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I'm not gonna help nothing.
No, bro. Y'all saw what time I woke up, and I woke up and I fell asleep on the
Like
couch.
an hour ago.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep on the couch, and then I woke up and saw my girlfriend had texted me from the bedroom, and she was like, "Do you want to get IHOP?" And that's the first thing I see when I wake up. I was just like, "No," and then didn't address it.
It's a weird thing to be upset about. But
Yeah.
That's how wrong side of the bed
I
I was.
thought you were
got
saying
it.
that like we would relate, like fucking IHOP guys. We're like,
It was
what?
just I was just like
Seems like a nice
I was like
thing.
no,
I feel that.
It was just one of those.
like not today.
Not today. But we're back. We took some time off too, just to get some shit together,
You know what I'm
doing
saying?
some personal shit. But we back. You know what I'm saying?
Back and better
With a
than
vengeance.
ever. Better than ever.
Better than always.
But yeah. Except for how pissed off we all were this morning. Apparently. except for that, everything's cool. Dude, have y'all seen that show We Are the Champions on Netflix?
No.
So it's a short series. I think it's narrated by Rainn Wilson. Is that Dwight from The Office?
Mm-hmm,
So it's narrated by him. But they go out and find these just like oddball competitions like around like the world, I guess, and do like a story on it. And like it's kind of tongue in cheek, but like I don't know, they do a really good job of not making fun of the people that are doing this.
Right.
And telling a really cool story about them, but then also pointing out just like
Culturally.
just how ridiculous it is. Like there's one, it's like a frog jumping contest, and you see how far you can get frogs to jump like straight from a starting point, and like people are in, like
Serious.
there's a couple families that like they go out like ritually, they have boxes full of frogs, they cut off like the street, like it's a neighborhood because like cars are driving by honking, like get all your shit out of the street, like testing all the frogs. It's a crazy process.
Damn.
But like 100% would recommend. It's like real good, easy watching, like kind of documentary style. It's real fucking cool.
And where's it on?
Netflix.
Netflix.
It's Netflix, yeah. But
I don't
100%
watch a lot of
recommend
Netflix
it, dude.
these days. But yeah, no, it's good shit. Some recent shit going on, you know what I'm saying? UFC fights,
McGregor lost.
he lost, which
knocked out in the second round to Dustin Poirier.
honestly, like, great. We all know McGregor is a top UFC fighter, like in UFC history type
Yeah.
shit. I'm not surprised.
No. In my I was even like talking to my friends like, going up to it. Like, I thought Poirier was gonna win, but I really wanted McGregor to win just on some like because he's on that kind of like
He's the villain shit.
He's the villain. He's kind of in some ways become bigger than the UFC, and I like
A lot of ways.
I like watching that power struggle between him and Dana, where he's like, "Fuck you," like y'all like
I'm gonna keep getting in legal trouble.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna like, I kind of get.
But I'm white, so you'll keep me around.
I'm Irish, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to mess with the IRA, or maybe he wants to mess with it, you know. But just seeing that, like, fuck you, like I get to choose what I get to do. Even with this Poirier fight, him and Dustin didn't get the contract they wanted for the UFC, and then they went separately and were gonna do a charity fight. And they already talked to like Jerry Jones and shit about doing it at Dallas Stadium, having fans, like this whole big thing. They did all that, and then Dana and the UFC were like, "Well, hold on, like let's come back to the table real quick, get this figured out."
I think for me, like with the UFC and having been a former big fan of it, like there was never a lot of like what's the word, drama and like storylines as far as who was fighting who. It's just this person had to fight this person, and if they won, they were on top, and then this next person would come, and they would probably lose to that person on top, and it would just, you know, the belts exchanged fucking people. And then Ronda Rousey came along, and definitely for me at least, that was like the first bigger than life personality.
Well, Chael Sonnen back in the day.
Chael Sonnen for sure.
And before that, Tito. Remember when Tito and Dana?
Not even just from the smack talk, just like from this like they're untouchable level. That's you see what I'm saying?
Okay,
yeah.
Like,
but
she definitely like first to transcend.
That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like this person, like a Tom Brady of the UFC. This person who will just never be defeated. Like look at Brady right now. He started off, you know, just to segue a bit. Tampa started off shit. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the guy can't fucking lose. Ronda Rousey had that mystique. Holly Holm whooped her fucking ass.
Yeah.
Basically, never heard from again as far as UFC goes.
With, you know, the fighting sport too. Tom, you always, as football being a team sport, just that thing.
True.
But yeah, no. Well,
but that's my point. Yeah. Conor had that same thing going, and with
even
this,
bigger probably.
Right, and with this loss, kind of puts him back down there a little bit. That's just how it looks to me.
And I'm wondering, you know, and he says he wants to fight again, which would be awesome. It seemed like all the story leading up to this was the most dedicated. That even the coaches, because his coach had told him he wasn't going to coach him anymore.
He's fucking up.
Before this UFC fight, he was literally just like, I like love him too much to like he has a shit ton of money. He doesn't need to do this. I don't think he really wants to do it. I don't want to coach him. And then like I guess Conor kind of showed him he was into it. So I'm wondering if maybe he was seeing his legacy, like you're saying, kind of slip, and him going like, well, hold on, like
in my
opinion,
still
want to be the best.
He's fighting, you know, and to segue a bit, he's fighting the Pauls now. Like in terms of that's where his rep is.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like,
I mean, and to be honest,
if he was smart,
because it's a bag, but
it's
like
a bag, and it's
but also like from like the Floyd jumping in it type thing, like that's the greatest boxer of all time,
legitimizing all of it.
And you know, just again, like it's a bag, it's a hustle. It kind of, to me, like really delegitimizes like their legacy.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's not a good look at the end of the day.
Especially a guy like Conor versus Floyd, because like even with like the Floyd shit, everyone's kind of like, dude, like you don't need to do this. But he's also 50-0 in boxing, so like his legacy is so cemented, and he did go against a shit ton of like top tier talent that ever like it's hard. But with Conor, he obviously had a historic run in the UFC, first like double champ, I'm pretty sure, and all that. So it's like that, like it's big shit. But you lost to Floyd, like came back, lost to Dustin, had all this legal trouble. Like it's not
your Khabib's son.
Yeah, Khabib bitched you. Like
it's rough.
It's not as cemented. But
you
that
know,
being said, I'd
his
like to see
career's
him
not
fight.
over. Yeah.
I'd like to see him fight Poirier again.
Sure.
They're 1-1 now, both with knockouts.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting because in the first round he looked like Conor won the first round, kind of looked like he had Dustin on the ropes a couple times type of thing. And then in the second, I mean, he just fucking got knocked the fuck out.
The memes just completely overtook the Bernie memes, which got old fast.
Dude, the Bernie meme
got
sitting,
so old.
But it was he did it like on Conor laying down.
I saw one where it was Bernie sitting in the hospital room with Conor laying in the bed, dude. So he's like just with him, dude.
That shit's hilarious. But on the back of UFC fighters and the Paul brothers, Jake Paul, Ben Askren, are supposedly going to have a boxing match.
Which has already been postponed.
Was it already postponed?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in April, and I think it's already been postponed.
Well,
I'm sure for all kinds of conflicts.
For Ben Askren's sake, let's spend that time training. Like
he's a wrestler, right?
He's a dominant wrestler,
right?
Very good wrestler. Was a dominant MMA fighter when he was fighting over in, I think it was one.
But he grappling.
he's never has have anyone said like Ben Askren's a
Watch
striker.
out for
They
his
even
hands.
had Michael Chandler, who fought on the McGregor card, came out. He's been teammates with Askren forever, and he was even like, listen, like he's not a striker. He's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like comparing him to like Nate Robinson, like he's taken punches before, so that'll be different. But he's not a striker. He's smaller than Jake Paul, I'm pretty sure. And he was brutal. Like the last time we saw him, well, that's not true. He had a couple fights after. But the last big time we saw him was getting brutally knocked out.
It's just a thing where, like, you don't want to lose to these guys.
You really don't.
And we've talked about it. They can fight.
They own the internet. They can fight.
They own the internet.
They are much better at marketing themselves. Because even like after talking about McGregor, even after that, Jake Paul was saying
Got
like,
right in his shit.
He was like, "Yeah, we'll give you $10,000 now. Like we're taking the 50 mil off the table type shit." And it's kind of positioned himself to
The
where
disrespect.
like if Connor's team kind of can't reach out now either. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, by the way about that, because then the Paul brothers take that shit right and they're like, look at him come like. You lose to real fighters, whatever. Now you want to come like
Come crawling back.
Yeah, come crawling back to beg me for a fight type
God
shit.
damn, I mean, well, that's at the end of the day, though. Isn't that the tactic of any troll?
For sure.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like the troll cannot lose.
No, yeah. That's
You know
how
what
it
I'm saying?
works.
He could get his motherfucking ass beat.
Yeah.
And in his eyes,
Who's
his or
the big
her
dude
eyes,
is
the
Conor
troll
McGregor.
wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with Logan Paul versus Floyd. If Logan goes fucking however many rounds they're going to do, if Logan goes the whole time, that's a win. Like if like, and I don't think Floyd's going to be able to knock him out. Like they're both just going to collect their bag, get the fuck out of there. Like, but it doesn't make you look any better type shit.
No.
But it'd be real embarrassing if Askren gets knocked out by Jake Paul.
It's super embarrassing. Super embarrassing.
Super embarrassing.
It's a win-win for the Pauls no matter who they fight. And
Yeah.
it's what a weird time we're in.
Yeah.
For entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, rest in peace, a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's funny though, you know, rest in peace, Larry King. Larry King passed away. He was old as dirt, but he was fucking at the end of the day a horrible interviewer. He was.
I was wondering if you were going to bring
I'm going to bring that up. He was a horrible interviewer. I mean, again, a legacy in entertainment television. You know, had great guests on. Is there ever some sort of like famous interview of Larry King's that has like all these great questions?
Maybe just him kind of being confused. I think
he just asked a lot of like, especially later in his career, he just asked a lot of like not tone deaf, but very like types of questions,
unrelatable questions.
Yeah, that people either like have like interviewing people below him on like the famous level and like the how much money they make. So they're like celebrities who can't even relate to this dude. He's so fucking up there in the upper echelon of celeb. He's just out of touch. He was always out of touch.
Dude, his interview with
rest in
Tom
peace.
Segura was fucking hilarious. I don't even, I can't remember exactly what happened, but just
I wonder who more confused, Tom or Larry the whole time.
fucking both of them. I know Eric Andre had an interview on there too.
Oh my God!
And just Larry King.
Now, like, did Larry know that he was being interviewed by Eric Andre during that? Because like that was probably the fucking case.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he got like real upset. He was like, I'm running this interview type shit, and Eric Andre was like, I'm Eric Andre.
No, I'm running this interview. That's true. I'm pretty sure Eric Andre is like the only person to defeat Nardwuar.
Yeah.
At his own game.
Yeah. For real.
Even when he said like he was to get interviewed by Nardwuar, he's like, "Shut up and take off those glasses and kiss me" or some shit like.
He kept asking Nardwuar questions like.
He's so good, dude. What a genius.
For real.
Rest in peace, man. Entertainment
peace.
legend.
Definitely.
Rest in peace, Sophie.
Yes.
The electronic hip hop producer, songwriter.
Just artist. I think she made a lot of her own albums that were really fucking good too.
Yeah.
So.
Known for bringing us a lot of well-known tracks.
Definitely.
Co-writing,
Definitely.
producing, and all that stuff. Rest in peace.
Pushing pop forward kind of as a whole, bringing a whole new like sound to it. I think honestly, definitely
for sure,
more unique perspective to it.
And you know, someone too also in the trans community.
Yes.
That people could look to for entertainment is uplifting and inspirational.
Definitely.
For sure, and it's a tragedy. Some celebs got.
For real,
Rest
dude.
in peace.
2021 was like y'all thought it was gonna get better.
It's coming
this year.
fast.
Like,
It's still it's the last day in January, and so
For
much
real.
shit has happened. Yo, okay, so this is like kind of a side note thing, but something that happened the other day, and I should have really known better, to be honest, in hindsight. But I found myself beefing on the internet a little bit with some fucking MGK stands, guys.
Yeah, I was privy to some of it, dude. They were not happy with you.
They were not happy with me. I mean, the fucking blonde Don Barbs really came after my shit. And the important thing to note is, like, factually and like, in terms of like information, I didn't have all the facts.
Yep.
And I was wrong. At the exact same time, not one opinion that I gave was in the slightest way overly negative or remotely controversial.
Yeah.
Especially considering the other things that people were saying in this thread. Now, I didn't see what other kind of shit people got in besides myself because I was too busy fucking just blocking shots and throwing jabs back. But yeah, no, fucking shouts out the Punk Rock NBA. Awesome, Finn McKenty, awesome creator. I even follow the guy on LinkedIn. He's a marketing guru for sure. But he makes great videos just talking about the punk scene, the metal scene, and the music scene in general, and kind of how it's evolved over the years and what contributor factors change this and that to the way just fans take in the stuff and perceive it. And he did this whole video where at the end of it, he basically was bigging up MGK for, what I call his transition into punk, the punk genre, and talking about like the kind of the dying image of rock stars and things like that. A lot of valid points were made. It's one of the first things I addressed too when making my comment. The one thing that rubbed me the wrong way with that whole thing, it's kind of old news, but when he was talking about motherfuckers with comfy shoes on Warped Tour, and that they shouldn't have comfy shoes.
Like it's punk rock, dude.
It's whatever else anyone wants it to be, because you definitely don't get to decide. That's kind of my whole takeaway. And he seemed really upset. And in the video, dude was saying he was being sarcastic, which I think is just a fucking lie. Like that dude was upset when he was making those comments.
Talking about MGK.
MGK in that interview, he was very irate about the shoes, and to me, like that just came off as like the most sort of poser thing.
Yeah, that felt like it gave me the same feeling, and really only me and Dylan will get this, but our old guitarist dad, when he'd be like we'd be going on stage to do shows in like middle school, he's like, "Y'all need like mohawks, like this is metal," and we were like,
we're just gonna be authentic.
Yeah, we're just gonna go up there with like our band shirts and shit. Like it's gonna be okay.
It'll be fine.
He's like, no, someone needs a mohawk. We're like, no one needs a mohawk. Like
and
leather.
And I think the thing that the point that's trying to be made is that by conforming to what he's saying and then you become unique, and the uniqueness and the quirkiness is a dying thing amongst those rock celebrities, which I'll totally concede. And that was never my argument. It wasn't. I still think the motherfucker is low-key a poser in the punk scene. That was basically my statement. And it started off real, solid discourse. People just disagreeing, saying, I don't really, and then even in those conversations, I was like, yeah, maybe like using words like poser and bullied is probably a bit much. You know what I'm saying? Probably not the fairest term, but I only got fucking 140 characters to get my point across. What the fuck do you want from me? You know what I'm saying?
Be a little dramatic.
Let's take this to Reddit or a Zoom call, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? However, there's a lot of other motherfuckers who did not like me using the word poser and bullied, and then I got bullied.
Yes.
I got absolutely shit on.
By people who couldn't spell.
By people who couldn't spell. People who didn't even speak English, typing into Google Translate just to talk shit back to me. They hated me so much.
Yeah. The one guy, I was so confused. Like I thought he was making a point about like MGK's gender. He kept
was
saying
trying to say
something about
genre.
Trying to say genre.
I
was very confused. He came to Josh about like, how
I was
could
like, I
you,
didn't say he changed his gender.
Yeah, we were like, well, no one's talking about gender. We're just talking about music, dude. Oh, shit was funny as fuck.
Didn't he end up saying some shit like English wasn't his first language or something?
Yeah, no, straight up. I was like, well, he was calling me an idiot. He's like, you're the idiot talking about his gender. I'm like, actually, you're the idiot who can't spell genre. He's like, well, I don't even speak English, so fuck you. And I was just like, fair enough. Like, what am I going to say? Like, fair enough, dude.
It's like an argument that should never be happening.
Exactly. But the thing was, like, it was people who, like, were, if you went through their profiles, they had him as their picture.
Or had pinned tweets like,
pinned tweets,
the best.
Sucking him off, and every single tweet was about him, for him, retweeted something. So there's just completely biased stance. I don't listen to Eminem like
you
that.
Don't care
I'm
enough
not that much
have
of
the argument.
I'm far from an Eminem. Call me a fan, I guess, but I'm way far from a stan. Go through my timeline. You ain't gonna find shit about Eminem other than this thing.
Yeah, and that's like me and James when you sent it to us. You're like, what do you think? We're always like, I mean, like maybe a little bit, but also like, who gives a fuck about MGK? Kind of like
that was the biggest thing. Yeah, it was just
at Talkin Sauce Pod.
I think though, with the interesting thing to note though is that it doesn't matter what you're a fan of or what the brand or product is, there's going to be people who support that thing that are toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
So maybe we should kind of like, as a whole, as a society, consider that when we judge brands and products to like separate the trolls and the toxic pieces of shit from the actual thing itself. I'm not naming anything else specific past that because that'll get you got out here. You know what I'm saying? But not everyone fucking represents the pieces of shit that represent them.
Yes.
That's all, that's all I'm saying to that.
I agree. Tony D'Angelo should not have been. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna get into that.
I'm just kidding.
Well, it's mental health awareness month.
Yeah, dude. Obviously. Nice.
So, MGK's fans, you guys want to see me, I'll fucking fight any of you in the streets. Like, you think I'm fucking scared of some MGK fans? You got
If
me
you want to
fucked
fight
up.
Josh, dude, hit us
You
up.
got me fucked
Talking
up.
Sauce Pod, no underscore, respect the underscore.
At TEAB.
You got bodied, son. The first line, let's talk about it. The first line of Killshot, the first line, Rihanna just hit me on a text. Last night I left hickeys on her neck. Anyone drops that at you and like it has like some legitimacy to it. You did like 5 songs with Rihanna. It kind of bodied his whole rap career. Just like that one line alone, dude. It's just the level of arrogance in that one fucking bar. I'm trolling. Oh shit, I love it. Oh man, this song didn't have a chorus. You know what I'm saying? MGK's song had a chorus. You lose off that.
Did y'all see the video of MGK when he was like dancing on the exec table in like the label room, dude?
Talk about a fucking poser,
that
dude.
shit made me really uncomfortable because like
It's
the thing is, if you make that move, like stick to it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get on the table, don't immediately like get off the table. Don't like get self-conscious
Like
once you're
you
up
get on the
there.
table and then your whole circus act is to then get off the table.
Yeah, his whole thing.
Yeah.
He didn't even like stand like tall about. Like he like kind of crouched down and was like,
Fake
yeah,
playing an air guitar, dude, and
then,
then
like, got right
fireman
back
rolled
off the
off the
table.
table. Like, fuck, dude.
And it was just kind of like everyone was like, well, what the fuck was that? Like it was so short that you didn't even really know what was going on.
Nah, all the execs were sitting there like, just like fucking smiling, like clowning.
This is gonna sell nothing. This is gonna sell no copies.
Yeah, dude. How about you fucking be that guy you're talking about? Get up, fucking slam a chair over someone's head, fucking cut the table in
And
half.
you better be wearing fucking wooden shoes doing it too.
Dude, those
goddamn
shoes
it.
better
There would be
hurt.
no
I want
New
to see calluses
Balances.
on your shit.
I want leather wrapped around wood. I want raw
Yep.
leather wrapped around wood.
I want to see Swedish clogs. That's metal. That's punk rock. Because I'm telling you now.
That's how it is. That's how it goes.
It's just what a world. Speaking of this world, before we haven't even started this episode yet.
For real, we're still in the intro.
A lot of shit going on. Wall Street
Got taken
and Reddit. They meet at the fucking in front of the saloon.
They met at GameStop, dude.
Dude, what's happening at this point? Like, because we don't need to go over the whole thing. I think we've even talked about it, but at some level, have we not talked about
Not
it at
on
all?
the episode. No.
Well, everyone knows. I think
Yeah.
just to not save a little bit of time, not to just go start that from scratch.
Yeah.
But at this point, has Robinhood unfroze those, or can people still not buy those stocks?
That I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Because basically, where it was
could
left
you look
at,
that up real quick, Dylan? Just I would be interested to know.
I'm pretty sure they're still frozen because
Probably.
the idea is that if they can't buy anymore, the price won't go any higher. It'll start to fall, and then
Yeah.
things will start to
Well,
normalize. is what
and
they're hoping
The main
to
company,
do. Excuse me.
The main company, the main hedge fund
Mm-hmm.
that lost billions is a 40% investor in Robinhood.
Oh,
It's
no
the,
shit.
It's the same. It's like
I didn't know
it's
that.
the same company.
Damn.
So it's like it's just like the most. And obviously, Wall Street doesn't give a fuck about like anything but money. So like obviously that move gets made, but and I'm sure shit like that happens all the time. But it's just like it's so fucking blatant how things haven't happened about it yet astounds me.
Right.
Because it's literally like the thing is nothing illegal was done. It wasn't like some guy on Reddit hacked some hedge fund and like dumped stock.
It's not
and then
insider
people
trading.
bought it. Like it's literally people looking at like the shit you can see online being
And
like,
giving
"Oh,
public advice,
yeah, like
which
oh
is
this
legal.
is happening.
Totally legal.
Everybody, here's our option to win some shit, and people did win, and then Wall Street was like you.
Basically, Wall Street said you can't play our own game. That's
Yeah.
basically what Wall Street did.
So I'm taking my ball and going home.
So right now they have it. So they're on. I'm trying to see the specifics, but they have it on limited buys after. So they froze it, and then I think it's like the next day they open it up for limited buys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most people are probably not getting access, and then they're just, no, people can. It's just limited, and then no one's even getting
Yeah,
access.
it's limited. Like those fucking PS5s are limited. Like,
Exactly.
oh, you can get them.
I mean, my whole take on it is kind of the same as it was before it got to this point, was that the SEC and these big hedge funds and government and everybody like that, they're going to conspire, work together to bail out the billionaires.
Yeah.
And if, like we're saying, it's not illegal, they're going to find a way to make it illegal for somebody to make an example of someone. And again, like I'm totally just being pessimistic. I have nothing to base it off of other than,
The history of the government.
Yeah,
fucking
like
over the
we
people.
lose. Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day. It was on the note of the $2,000 stimulus checks. It was like, one of those tweet memes. It was like, so if Wall Street gets their money before we do, it's on, right?
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the fucking threshold between the two is gigantic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how it always has been.
Yeah.
What?
Thick as your chode.
Thick as my chode. That was the description I used in a private conversation.
That's why I didn't. You said what?
You're the one with the chode, dude.
I am the one with the chode. It is thick.
You just don't want us to address it.
It's addressed now. Kind of like this mic right here, just half as tall.
Looks like that cheese wheel they're rolling down the hill. The people
Skyrim cheese wheel.
Skyrim cheese.
Thick
wheel,
chode.
dude.
You've been there.
Yeah, throwback to that episode, dude. Go check that out.
Speaking
Whatever
of episodes, man, before we dive into this motherfucker, Jacob, dude, let him know, dude.
If you are listening to this, go check out our YouTube. We put every episode, got a video with it every Wednesday. We drop.
If you're
the
listening to this,
scrum. Like and subscribe. If you're watching, definitely like and subscribe. And if you're watching, go listen to us.
it's like we have an
Oh.
in-video promo for ourselves.
It's
You know how like a
true.
lot of YouTubers and stuff, they'll like do it in video. They're like just all of a sudden
Like,
you're
they
talking
have
next thing you know,
people
they're
that pay
like
them money?
just like these glasses.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
put them on,
yeah.
but like we're doing that with our own shit.
With our
'cause
own
we
shit.
need the fucking support.
because
So what's
we're
your problem?
independent. We're doing this grind independent. We haven't sold out like the rest of those
Hurricanes
podcasts.
podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking sellouts.
taking sponsors,
Getting those checks.
getting money for this, those losers. But yeah, check us out. Like, subscribe, all that.
What's a residual? Oh shit.
My job doesn't even pay me. I do everything for free, dude.
For the sake of doing it.
For the love, really.
With it being episode 99. For the last time,
We got to shout out that one guy in beer league.
we got to shout out some player that wore 99. It was tough, man, because
So many players wear it.
a lot of players have worn this number. It was really difficult to narrow it down through all the options. I mean, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, but we settled on one. Some guy named Wayne. You heard of him?
I haven't.
Last name Gretzky.
Did he play a long time?
First name Greatest. Played for a little bit. Wayne, the great one, Gretzky. Number 99, the nines.
Yup.
The one.
The one he works with Drake. You know what I'm saying? OVO
That's
Gretzky
true.
merch.
That's
dude.
actually
Look
that's literally a
at,
thing.
look how you brought that full circle,
Bro,
dude.
I'm just,
Don't even ask him how.
it's just up here, and sometimes it comes out.
Before
Just-
you even put it together, your brain's already like 10 steps ahead.
That's
bro.
actually how my brain works usually. It's not good. Wayne Gretzky, the fucking GOAT, it's so hard to like intro this man,
Yeah.
right? Without doing him a disservice because of what he's done for the game, the sport of hockey, the records he's broken, shattered, and established.
So we'll start with how old he is.
He just turned 60. He just turned 60. It's a milestone.
It is a milestone. It's a
Big milestone.
Big
It's
milestone.
episode 60 for Gretzky in his life. He's kind of young.
Low key.
All things considered. He looks great.
Does.
He's always looked great post career. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's an alien.
And also too, like imagine the fucking medical shit he has access to.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? The stuff that we like the Area 51 shit that we use for different shit, like he's got access to that shit.
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
And in Canada, so it's free, dude.
Damn. It's extra free for him. You know what I'm saying? Like because
pay him.
the lines are long because of that shit, but he's just queued
Well, yeah.
right to the
And
front.
Even everyone in the line is like, well, it's Wayne Gretzky.
It's almost like no matter what, there's still priorities for the rich and powerful.
You're telling me that money buys you things?
Apparently.
Crazy. Fucking crazy.
All right, so let's dive into this fucking beauty's career. This absolute legend, the one of the original legends.
Yeah.
Not the second legend. And with that, there's a reason why he wears the nines. Do you know why he wears the nines? Does anyone know? Most people know.
Most people know.
You know?
Does.
Sure.
I was making sure you know. I know. I was making sure you know.
Jacob, do you know?
I know, dude.
So, by the time he came into the league, Gordie Howe was well established as Mr. Hockey and the greatest player to play and actively play. He rocked number 9. And, 9 was kind of an untouchable number a little bit. Baron Kane Ward, disrespectful motherfucker. But
Saw how that turned out.
yeah, exactly.
Like you guys don't play.
So he said, "Fuck, I'll double down,
I'm twice as good.
slap a second 9 on there, and we're in business." So his pro career, he didn't even start in the NHL. That's how fucking not old per se, but that's just how long he's been playing pro hockey. There was an NHL, but he wasn't a part of it. Start with the WHA, the World Hockey Association.
As an 198-year-old.
Yeah. He's like Gandalf and shit. That makes him sound so old. He is a wizard. He's a wizard with the puck. No, so is that what it says?
Yes.
Oh, it says big old typo. No, as an 18-year-old, he signed his first contract at 17, and the reason why he started in the WHA is because you had to be at least 20 years old to play in the NHL at the time. So he starts with them, and it was the Oilers. It was when the Oilers were still part of that league. There's a few other teams that merged over when that league folded. Starts with the WHA, plays for them for a little bit. I think like 2 seasons at most, or like a season, something like that. But following not too long after, that league folds. Edmonton merges with the NHL. So his career with the Oilers, he played for them for 9 seasons. 9, you know what I'm saying? No irony there. And he won his first of 8 consecutive Hart trophies that first year. All right, first of 8 in a row. And with that, he tied Marcel Dion's points that season, who ended up winning the Art Ross only because he had a couple more goals than Gretzky. But he had 137 points that season, which was established the most by any first-year player. And he could not win the Calder, because
he's not a rookie.
Not a rookie. He had already played in the WHA, so that his rookie label was taken away for that. But he still holds the record for the most points by any first-year player ever in the history of the NHL. No one's ever going to beat that.
No.
Never. That's unbeatable. However, that year, Ray Bourque won the Calder. So little background. Just great players all over the fucking place back then in the early 80s, late 70s. So then following the next season, or maybe 1 or 2 seasons after, in 81-82, he beats the Maurice Rocket Richard's record for 50 goals in 50 games. Took him 39. 39 games. And also, it's not on here, but that game was like a 7-4 win over somebody, but he scored 5 goals that game to do it. To really just fucking drive it home that he was going to. I mean, he's going to beat it anyway, right?
I'll do it today.
He could have waited 2 more games, and I think still would have had it. He said, "No, I'm
feeling it tonight.
Let's get 5 in there.
Let's knock it out. Let's go ahead and get done."
What's that? It literally fucking, if I'm not mistaken, 10% of the fucking record. he took out in 1 game. This dummy. And that same season, that same 81-82 season, he became the first player to break the 200-point mark. Which I'm real quick going to jump down to some of his other records just to say that he did that 3 seasons in a row, and he's the he's the only player to ever reach 200 points in a season.
And he did it 3 times.
He did it 3 years in a row. Stupid.
Sick fuck.
And at this point, this was like his 2nd or 3rd year in the league, breaking 200 points. A video game.
Yeah,
it's a video game to this guy.
For real.
And with just how dominant he was, they established the Gretzky rule. Prior to that, you could have what we know now. If you have any coincidental offsetting minor penalties, both players would go to the box, and both those players would be down both sides of the ice. So you could have 4-on-4s, 3-on-3s, and it opened up the ice a lot. We know that now. We're used to that now, but at the time, Gretzky and them were so good that they would hope and probably finagle the thing a bit so they could get those offsetting minors and create more space for them so they could absolutely dominate. They would score 1 or more goals on the regular when they had those odds.
And no one was as fast as Gretzky back.
No one was as good. Yeah, or as fast. So they created that rule. They created that rule where you would have those offsetting minors and you don't lose the man.
Yeah.
They ended up reversing it like in the early 90s. And what we know now, the game encourages more goal scoring. So it's just interesting to see how they're like, there's too much goal scoring going on. You know what I mean? It's so counterintuitive to what we know now. So that's 85. And so following, obviously he did great things with that team, played with some future Hall of Famers, Mark Messier, Yari Curry, so on and so forth. Fucking the goalie, Ed Belfour. Won his only 4 cups with those Edmonton Oilers in those 9 seasons, 84, 85, 88, 87, and 88. Those are his only 4 cups. I say it's only 4.
Yeah.
Um,
Almost filled up a hand. And
but
shit.
on his back, right? Like, I mean, obviously he had great Hall of Fame level teammates,
Yeah.
but definitely on his back. For sure. So 9
then-
seasons with Edmonton, and then the trade, the most famous trade in the history of trades, almost in sports. Not even just the NHL. It's one of the biggest sports trades almost ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And a lot of details about this I actually didn't really know. One of the biggest catalysts to this was that the owner at the time was fucking up all of his other ventures, apparently, and losing his ass. So the idea was that, and I think his dad was his agent/manager, so his dad was aware, and didn't tell him this too either, that the owner had been shopping him around for a little bit to see what he could get for Gretzky, basically. He needed to make some fucking cash back, and lo and behold, ends up getting dealt to L.A. Now, there was a couple other front runners, the other big one being New York. And before it was fully negotiated, they brought it to Gretzky's attention to bring him in on the negotiation. He's like, well, first of all, if you're trading me anywhere, fucking McSorley, obviously, and Krushelnyski, they're coming with me.
Yeah.
I need protection. You're not leaving me alone wherever I'm going. Everyone's probably going to hate me where I land at first just because of how much I fucked them up. So they got to come with me. And they're like, all right, well, if it's going to be LA, talking to the Kings, we want Luc Robitaille. They're like, that's a non-starter. They ended up not getting him. So for those 3 and probably some other pieces and some things like that, a bunch of draft picks and a bunch of other players I can't recall, and $15 million in
Yeah,
cash,
straight up gave him cash.
which I don't think you can do anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it announced at the time that like
I don't know.
like a 3rd round pick and then also $15 million?
I feel like it was. I feel like that
so
was public
crazy.
stuff.
I'm glad that kind of shit's out of the.
Oh, that's
Not
ass.
allowed,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's ass. And another thing too, with LA being that destination, part of the rumor was that it was going to be, it was going to help Paulina to help start her acting career
Okay.
if she goes to LA, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But
When you're the greatest, you get to do that kind of shit.
for sure. It shook the hockey world. It shook Canada. There was fucking people who were lobbying for the government to block the trade. That's how much Canadians didn't want this to happen. Gretzky
real.
cried on national television.
Bro, dude, they're like, not the great one. Like he's like literally their like shining beacon of
Yeah.
light coming out of Canada.
I think at that point he had already been deemed in like some official Canadian title, like an officer of Canada or some shit.
Probably.
It's like legitimately that was already a
Mountie
thing.
or something.
Straight up.
King Mountie.
Just a picture of him with a moose, like riding a moose in a Mountie outfit.
No, he's wearing his uniform. He's wearing his Oilers uniform.
Everyone else is
true.
on horses. He's on a moose.
Exactly.
That's Wayne Gretzky, King Mountie.
He ended up playing 8 seasons in LA, and then towards the end of the 95-96 season, he was traded to St. Louis. And I think a lot of that had to do with there was new ownership that came into LA, and I think they just weren't getting along, and the negotiations were getting sour. The relationship was soured, so they traded him at the end of the 95-96 season to St. Louis. He finishes out that season, and I think he played the majority of the following season. He only played like 30-some games with them. It wasn't very long. And then went into free. Oh no, it was because of the playoffs. So he played those 13 remaining regular season games, and then took them to the conference finals. And then the chemistry never really set in with Brett Hull like they were hoping. Which, good God, imagine if they had done that for a little bit longer, and if that really popped
Yeah,
off,
they
that
figured it out.
he could have had way more points.
Yeah.
Just the goal scoring ability of Hull and Gretzky's passing, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He signs like a 2 or 3 year deal with the Rangers, the New York Rangers, at $8 million a year. Gets reunited with Mark Messier, and on all things. And also, I didn't know this, him and Messier at that point were the last 2, at least towards the end of his career, were the last 2 remaining active WHA players.
Oh shit.
So there wasn't anyone else left in the league that had came from the WHA but those 2.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Shows a testament to not just how long they played, but how much endurance they had to be able to play that long.
Yeah.
There's other great players, I'm sure, that were part of that same transition, but couldn't last as long, right?
Yeah.
And Messier played a long fucking time. Ended up winning, at least 1 cup in New York. Can't remember.
Yeah.
At least 1. Like in 2001 or some shit. Like 99 or
Yeah.
something. After Gretzky left, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or close to it anyway. Let's see. There's so much fucking information on this absolute goat. Yeah, played 3 seasons with him, finishing out his professional career with 894 regular season goals, 1963 regular season assists, for a total of 2,857 regular season points. An untouchable record.
He still could. He's never have scored a goal and have the NHL point record, right?
Say that again?
Gretzky still could never have scored a goal and has the NHL point record.
Yes,
right?
it's one of my favorite fun facts. Is you could take away all of his goals and he would still have the most points in NHL history.
Which
Incredible.
It's
is
dummy.
bonkers.
It's dummy. I think Jágr would be like really close.
Yeah,
at that point. He's second, is he not, or is Lemieux second? I feel like Jágr did it. I think he.
I don't know. Did Jágr ever beat out? Francis was third for a while.
Yeah. Well, Francis is like I think he had like
1,400 points.
Something like
Francis.
that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's quite close though. Jágr did some
Jágr's
shit.
second, Messier's third.
Yeah.
So is Francis fourth?
He's like sixth because then you got Lemieux in there,
Let me
close
expand this
behind.
bitch.
See, Lemieux's thing is
Was
his
he-
points per game.
Gordie Howe is fourth, Francis is fifth.
There you
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
And where's
There you go.
Lemieux in there? Like
I say Lemieux would.
eight.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Lemieux would be
He didn't play as
higher,
long.
Yeah, and he had the injury stuff.
He
But
had
it's
the
crazy.
highest points per game like
Yeah.
of anybody.
Yeah.
Actually, Gretzky did have it, or I think Gretzky does have the highest points per game, and then Lemieux had the highest until he came unretired. So when
Yeah.
Lemieux came back, he diminished his own points per game, which
Yeah.
he held the record and then fell behind after he came back.
It's just crazy looking at the figure. Like Gretzky has almost 1,000 more points than Jágr, who's in second place.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It's
It's
untouchable.
unrealistic is what it is. So, and again, this man has broken and established so many records, but I kind of just want to go through some notable ones.
Yeah.
Again, the youngest player to score 50 goals in a season, 19 years old. In 2 months old, that's it, 19 years, 2 months. Youngest ever to score 50. Most 200 or more point seasons, 4 of those. And he also has the record for the most 100-point seasons. And again, he's the only player to ever reach the 200-point milestone in a season. 200 consecutive, 200-point seasons 3 consecutive times. The most 70 or more seasons at 4. The NHL record for the most 60-goal seasons, but not 70. 8 players have achieved 70 goals, and Brett Hull did so 3 times. NHL has a record for the most 60-goal seasons. Not 70. Okay, so he doesn't have the most at 70, but he has the most at 60. That's what it is. But he has 4.
This crazy.
4 of those. That's nuts. Dummy nuts. I don't know if that's all right. It kind of reads weird.
I think it's saying like he has the most 70 or more goal seasons, but the NHL only counts 60 or more type shit.
I
Because
see.
He's the only one who's done the
The
70.
okay, gotcha. Yeah. Which he's like,
Which is still fucking.
he's just not even in the conversation. He's so fucking good.
They had to lower the bar just to get other people into the conversation.
Most 80 or more goal seasons too, and of course, and I want to say this was back in, I had this somewhere and I lost it. This was literally like his fucking second or third NHL season when he scored 92 goals. He's the only player to ever break 90, the only one, and he
It's
fucking scored
crazy.
92. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Fastest player to 100 points. 34 games. You guys gotta
That's
laugh.
ridiculous.
It's so
34
stupid.
games, 100 points.
It's stupid. And aside from his outstanding playing career, it just kind of eclipses anything he's done outside of that. But he's done incredible things outside of it for the game. I think he's
collab with Drake, dude.
collabed with Drake. He was the Arizona coach for a little bit.
He was.
Wasn't the greatest coach, but he did it. You know
The
what I'm
greatest
saying?
players usually don't turn around to be the greatest coaches.
These
you
are
know what I'm
facts.
saying?
Shouts out Michael Jordan as the owner of the Bobcats.
For real.
They'd be struggling.
Yeah, for real. Word to Rod Brindamore, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Hey.
Greatest ever. Dude.
But he's not in the hall.
Yeah, he's not in the hall.
So he can
That's
be
why
a
he's
coach.
great
You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? As soon as he gets in the hall, he's done.
It's done. We're
He's
gonna have to let him
donezo.
go. Put him back. Have him work with Billy Burniston.
I think he's. God, that's so. That's yeah. A lot of jokes there. Also, I think he still currently holds a title with the Oilers organization. I know he's the NHL World Hockey Ambassador, but I think he does hold some executive position in the Oilers organization somehow. I'm not exactly sure. Not like a real big official title, but like an advisor and shit like that. You'd have to, right?
For the
You got
look,
the
yeah,
next
you
coming with McDavid. So poetic.
Yep.
It's so poetic he can,
So he's gonna get traded to L.A. Right?
Stop it.
Doesn't he?
Stop
he's gonna
it.
follow the same.
after 9 seasons and 4 cups, sure. Fuck, he's only got like 4 more of those before he... Fuck.
Got to start winning.
How old
some
is McDavid?
cups.
Like 30 now? Like,
Yeah, he's like, I think like 38, dude.
it's crazy. But at the end of the day, he is the greatest player to ever play behind Alex Ovechkin. It's just, he is still at the end of the day second best to Ovechkin.
Wow.
And that really, it's a testament to how good Ovechkin is, that even with all these records, these records,
he would still be consensus better than Gretzky.
exactly.
There's not
Like, Ovechkin doesn't even need the records to be better.
Yeah,
he
everyone's
just
like,
is.
Everyone's like, well, obviously Ovechkin. But then we can get into guys like Gretzky and Lemieux.
One of the things that always is funny to me, this is an Ovechkin conversation now, that like when people go, oh, you know, like if Ovechkin played in those eras, he'd have like 400 goals a season, all that stuff because he was so good. People forget, and people will then argue, who don't forget, that the equipment wasn't as good.
Yeah.
But let's also remember this that I think a lot of people don't think about.
Okay.
Right? Put a wood stick in Ovechkin's hands, or especially in the 80s. I'm gonna say that his shot is not gonna be. It's gonna be slower. It's not gonna be that much slower.
It'll be different.
It's gonna be different, right? But at that point, everyone's using the same stick, so there's no advantage there. So by default, he's gonna have the best shot in the league. Just that's my opinion.
Ovechkin would also be a fucking giant back in those days.
But
just from like a
smaller equipment, shitty skates, he might not be able to skate as fast. Those are things that people would argue. But here's my counterpoint to all that. When is Ovechkin fucking moving when he scores goals?
Yeah.
Never. He's standing still in one spot. So put him in the 80s. Put him in the 80s with a fucking piece of lumber. Put him in his office. That man's scoring 700 goals a season, dude.
He doesn't break the stick every single time.
He is breaking the stick every single time.
He's still going right in.
His teammates don't need a stick because he doesn't have to move to score. He's going to stay at one spot. The fucking goalies were stick thin with their equipment back then.
Yeah,
There's so
up,
much net
praying,
to hit.
Keeping their eyes closed.
Yeah, they just did a butterfly cartwheel every time. There's so much net for that, man. It's not even a question who's better. Anyway.
Anyway, moving
Big
on.
shouts
That's
out
good.
to 99 Wayne Gretzky. Shouts out this bit. I mean, really shouts out us. See, it just
the
goes
end
back
of
to
the day,
Ovechkin and
really,
us. We're the GOATs.
We're the greatest. Yeah, that's what I've always said.
Affirmation.
Yeah.
Carolina.
We back, baby. Played
Finally.
the game. Finally back on the ice.
Everyone's back from the plague.
Woo!
Right into some injuries.
Yeah. Well, with with all the protocols.
I'm jumping
stuff,
ahead.
Yeah. Jordan back playing. And then Slavin, Turbo, Martinuk, Fogel, and I don't know if Fost is skating yet, but the first four started back.
Fast
skating.
is the only one. I saw this earlier. I think he's the only one still in protocol.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're getting back. I don't think they're going to be. We have a game today. I
Yep.
don't believe that any of those players are going to be playing.
Nope.
But hopefully,
Stalls.
well, Stahl's playing.
Yeah, Stahl's playing.
Stahl's already
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
Won that game in overtime.
Yep.
With the pass to Natchez. But yeah, so good to see guys getting back.
Quick recoveries.
If knock on wood and all that shit, if this is the only big protocol situation we have this season,
That's a blessing.
I think we will be very, very lucky.
Still a trash league, but it's not the point.
Yeah, it's not the point. Fucking that Dundon had to go and put fucking fast. What is it called? The fucking fast response testing or rapid testing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Played Dallas yesterday or 2 days ago on Saturday when people will be hearing this.
Another team that had a late start to the league.
Yeah, to say the least. Really.
Weren't we
feel
like
bad
their
for
second
Florida.
game?
No, it was all Florida.
Okay.
Pretty sure it was Florida was the beginning of the season. Florida missed those
God
games.
damn.
And then later on, Florida missed their games against us. So Florida's really fucked. But yeah, we had all like AHL fourth line. We had Geeky, Lawrence, and Ruppel. I'm not sure how to say his name.
Right.
And
I think Devin Shore's playing for us tonight.
he is because McCormick decided to go fuck up Mrazek real quick. He said, "Let me slide into this goalie at full speed." No, I mean I'm sure it's that. I felt real bad for him though because it's like you don't want to come in and then take out the starting goalie like first game
I'll
back.
tell it to D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Apparently that is the move.
Yeah, apparently that is the way to go.
We'll get into
But yeah,
that.
it goes down, takes out Mrazek. Hope Mrazek is okay. Haven't seen so much information on that.
I feel like aside from all the illness stuff, I feel like our goalies just stay. Goddamn, it's our own player. You know what I'm saying? Our goalies cannot not get hurt.
For real.
Right?
For real. And it was kind of tough to see what even happened. It looked like something with his hand. That was obvious, but what it was, I don't know. McCormick goes down, gets fucked up by Blake Cuomo.
Yep.
In the corner. Brendan Moore was like, "It looked bad, and it is bad." That was his quote. It's every bit as terrible as all of us thought the second that it happened.
Just honest.
So yeah, like you said, Devin Shore coming in. He's got some experience.
Yeah.
all in all, the guys stepping in, I feel like have played pretty well.
Canes are 4-0.
Yeah, Lorenz. No, we've lost.
Lost
I
one?
think we're 4-1.
You're right.
But yeah, Lorenz came in, got his first NHL point against Dallas. I think he's looked really good. He's a guy that we've talked about on here even last season. I was saying I was real excited to see him get his chance because he kind of reminds me of a bigger, slightly better hands Fogle. Like he plays that same style, like very north-south. League is some slickness, but fast skater, bigger body, willing to do the dirty work.
Is he right-handed?
I
know Fogle's not.
Is left-handed.
Is he left-handed too?
He's left-handed. But and he got, I think in his first game he played, he got like 15 minutes of ice time, which in a Brindamore system, from what we've seen,
That's got to be tough.
Yeah, you're doing something right. That he lets you get that much time, so it's good. Good to see all that. It'll be interesting now. I guess he hasn't done enough to beat anybody that's in protocol out of the lineup yet.
Right.
But it would be interesting to see.
And we talked about this too, like even last season in the bubble and stuff with guys opting out, guys going into protocol, and other injuries. For these taxi squad players, it's such an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lemons make lemonade out of these lemons, right?
Definitely.
Fucking huge opportunity for a guy like him.
You've seen Nadalkovich, obviously, is probably going to get a shot depending on what happened to Mrazek, which all the fans were calling for.
Poor Dad.
Yeah, for real.
He's like, okay, yeah, I get to play. Sure. You know what I mean? He just feels teased.
For real. But it's been good.
No, it's good. So far,
Dallas
good,
put fucking
I
like
guess.
8 shots up last night.
Yeah, no, what was it? I think in 5-on-5, I think they only had 4 shots on goal in 5-on-5.
That's crazy.
That's a strong defensive core.
And the difference is, though, like we're
Reminds
starting.
me when I play defense.
It's
You're on one today.
It was like,
Stealing himself.
you're going to come on my side, you ain't getting the puck off. You know what I'm saying? We might lose 10-0, but you didn't score on my side.
No, that was on D'Angelo's side.
Yeah, exactly. Former teammate.
But what was I saying?
I don't know. I distracted you.
I don't remember. Oh, but no,
Bracco.
the Hurricanes, scoring the goals that like we need this, like that we should score, which seems to always have been our problem. Is like, oh, they get 50 shots.
No quality chances.
Missing out on the opportunities, but then you saw like you see the Nature's pass to Trocheck, that was sick. Nature's pass across to Dzingel for
Svech's
the power
backhand.
play goal. Svech's backhand,
So clean.
Yeah, it's just we're making real nice plays, scoring on the power play for fuck's sake. I mean,
That is a
my God,
veteran Hurricanes fan right there. You can hear it in your voice. That is years of poor power
for
play.
real, awful.
11% on the power play for the past fucking a million seasons.
dude.
We barely get above that like 15 to 18% mark.
For real,
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's been good. Like you were saying, Bracco.
Bracco waived. For the purpose of termination, and he's already in overseas.
Yeah, he was loaned to Cal Pa.
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, I have no fucking clue.
What league? Well, because I hear that's
Liga?
yeah, is that the one that Aho's dad owns or whatever? Is that? Because there's the
Yeah, it's
there's
a
the
thing.
one team that Aho. Anyway,
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Anyway,
could very easily be the case. The
yeah.
relationship would be there.
yeah, and,
But
it
shouts
sucks.
out him.
For him, I'd be interested to see a story come out on just like
What's the deal?
Yeah, like the timeline of him. Because
I mean,
just
all I
remember
ever
him
know-
being a name. Like,
Yeah, well, he was the least prospect, so
yeah.
that I think just
That
has its
helps.
own weight.
Yeah.
But he was always known to have a decent shot. I think it was
Yeah.
kind of his big asset. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We have a lot of offensive talent, and a lot of
Yeah.
it's coming up. So it's just like odd man out sort of thing. I think more than
Yeah.
anything else. And
Yeah.
again, we talk about the taxi squad. You run out of room. You just
Yeah.
run out of room for
And,
these coming uppers.
if he didn't like.
So he's like 27. I think he's a little
Somewhere,
older.
yeah, like we brought him in kind of to see, like, let's see what's up with this, and it seems like they were just like, well,
Doesn't always work.
Yeah.
It's probably nothing against him as a player,
but
but something against somebody. This honestly pisses me the fuck off. Like this is not how this was supposed to happen.
yeah,
Forsland signs, and wish him the best. He deserves the best. Forsland signs to be the fucking play-by-play commentator for the new Seattle team. Do they have a name? Am I tripping?
the Kraken.
They are.
Kraken.
Oh, that's right, because it's not plural, and that's weird.
Yeah,
It is, but it's not. He'll be their play-by-play commentator. He moved to Washington State, guys. Like I think that just kind of says it all. He picked Washington State over us.
Who doesn't love the cold, rainy weather? Dude?
Who doesn't love
He's
that
a
depressing
Harvard
ass
guy.
bullshit? He's a Harvard guy.
Yeah, he's a Harvard guy.
More money, obviously. That just is going to be a given there. where's the opportunity? Where's the next level come up that we've said that this is what he would leave us for?
We were hoping that's what it was.
He's becomes the replacement for Mike Emmerich, and it all makes sense.
Yep.
Because you couldn't have offered him enough money.
When I saw that video of him doing the hey, what do you say? Like Seattle Kraken. Like
We got to change our intro fast, bro. We really do.
It's just fucking right through the heart. I was like, damn.
Fuck you, Dundon, all right?
Honestly,
Of
man.
all the things that you've done right for this team, this was an absolute fucking fumble.
Yeah.
He went to another NHL team.
Yeah, he went back to Francis because I guess France is paying him. You know what I'm saying? They probably have deep history.
I
there.
forgot about that part.
But also going back to the Hartford thing. I mean, I'm sure they've been fucking boys for a minute.
That's true.
So
he gets there. Hey, Francis, man. I was actually cool with all that Peter shit, by the way.
Yeah. I don't even blame you for
dab me up,
that.
dude.
We're cool, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fucking bummer.
It's a bummer. He's
nothing
gonna do
against
great.
Mike Maniscalco.
No, nothing at all. It's just that he
It's
made
a
a
done
lateral
thing.
move.
Yeah.
He made a lateral move, and I don't think it paints him as greedy, right? Because obviously, again, he's going to receive more money. That had to have been one of the biggest components
Yeah.
since he is staying with an NHL team.
Yeah.
But
And he's established. Like, he deserves the money that
Right.
he should be getting.
we just
You know what I'm
weren't.
saying?
I guess it does go back to that we couldn't pay him enough. That's what we'd said, but we didn't realize it was just to stay on an NHL team, not go to just some next level. But hey, is what it is. He's going to be the best at what he does either way.
Yep.
Big shouts out Forsland. Not shouts out our ownership for that. It is what it is. And then Talkin.
Yeah, got a first NHL goal up there in New Jersey. So that's good to see
Yep.
him. Lusterinen got his first goal for Florida a little while back. So dude's been pretty sick to see, just
These are prospects that like a lot of the fans and the diehard fans and the fans in the know of our prospects are saying look out for.
yeah. And
It's good to see him do shit.
Yeah, it's good to see him do shit. It shows that our drafting is good and strong. Like, these are the kind of guys like Morgan Geeky who like got his spot on the squad, but guys like that third and fourth center role, like winger role that you're getting late in the draft become trade pieces that can go succeed on other teams where they have the space for them.
Kind of like how Dzingel was supposed to be.
Yeah, low key. And he's been
He's fine.
He's been doing a lot better.
He was the
think.
first line center in Ottawa.
That's
That's what it always goes back to for me.
yeah.
That's just we just looked at their decor. That's a down bad team right there.
For real, dude. For
that's-
real.
it's
But
funny.
shouts out to the prospects, bro.
Big shouts
Is
out,
Nick Waugh still playing for Vegas? Is he still?
dude. Actually, no. I think I saw something. This was a while back too. I think I saw something about just him not being on the roster.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think he's cracking it. But again, fucking Vegas, like they're back to back conference champs type
no,
shit.
Really,
like
really good.
they're really good.
That was a
Conference
guy-
finalists.
Yeah, Roland McEwen still can't get out of the AHL, dude. But
Yeah, that's just unlucky.
it is kind of funny to look back on, like,
Yeah, we traded for him so long ago.
for real. But we got him in that came back in the stall trade, right?
No, I thought we got him from L.A. He was an L.A. player at
He
the
was in
time.
LA. Who did we?
Unless
trade
he went
there?
somewhere else first, and that
Wait,
could be wrong.
No, you're right. He did come from LA. Who did we send to LA though?
That's why I don't think it was, because I think it was a real get for us in terms of just getting a prospect.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
But I
and
can't.
we're like, oh, this right-handed D-man, he'll come up.
did we
might trade like a draft pick or
'Cause
something. I just don't remember.
we traded Stahl to New York?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't fucking remember how we got who.
I
fucking
really
sent
think
to
it was
LA.
like a draft pick or nothing that was ever anything, because in my mind, he was the get, and we just kept drafting better D-men, and better D-men just kept coming up. He just never gets a shot.
I know, but it's just so
Tough
funny to look
titties.
back on old like.
Oh, yeah.
Old like dude like remember fucking Sergey?
I thought Nick Waugh was going to be something legit.
Me too. But do you remember Sergey? Was it Tolchinsky or whatever, dude?
Yeah.
The smaller guy with all the hands.
All
and
the
shit?
highlights.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
where the fuck is he?
Crazy.
In other NHL news, this happened a little bit ago, but it's becoming more and more of a talking point, especially online. Babcock had his, first big interview with Pierre LeBrun in The Athletic ever since, getting the job as an analyst. Have you seen him on TV?
I saw him once.
Okay.
I saw him one time. He was on
I
there with
haven't.
Patrick Sharp and I forget the woman's name. But yeah, it was it was just
He was
his
just there?
panels like
Right.
giving his opinion on stuff.
Really
but,
uncontroversial.
yeah.
Anticlimactic.
Keeping it real fucking neutral. Dude.
I wonder who's giving him that advice.
But
But yeah, no, he gets interviewed by Pierre LeBrun, and he talks about the whole Marner situation and some of his past mistakes, regrets as a NHL head coach,
Yeah.
who was, at the time, before all that stuff came out, he was revered as one of the best.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, just he did kind of let that get to his head from accounts of other players. Apparently spoke in the third person a lot, but
Really?
apparently that was like a thing. Yeah,
I don't even know. What do you mean? Like, how, though?
like he'd be like, well, I'm Babcock. Like,
Oh,
what
shit.
like Babcock is like what Babcock says.
Oh,
Go,
no.
like shit like that.
That's
But
rough.
anyway, yeah, has his interview with Pierre LeBrun. Obviously, the first thing they get to is the Mitch Marner situation. And it was funny because I'm reading through this and, he brings it up. And Babcock's response is basically like, well, it happened, but it didn't happen the way that everyone says. He's like, I didn't just go and post that list of players on the wall. What happened was I brought Mitch in. We did our interview. I had him list the players. And then I forget the other guy that he was talking to next. He's like, but then he said something, and I was like, well, look what Mitch thinks. And immediately I regretted what I did, but I did it. And that's
not a justification. That's an account of what happened.
Yeah. And then he was like, I told Mitch, like, I'll go and apologize to the team if you want me to. But Mitch obviously was like, no. So
You made a 19-year-old professional athlete cry.
Yeah, it's just
Like, that's what happened.
his whole thing. But his thing is like, well, I didn't post it on the wall. I just told the team. It's like, well, fucking
Semantics.
same fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And then he gets into the Franzen thing.
Which is
Yeah,
low-key
Franzen
fucked
had
up.
really awful shit to say about him, or just really damning shit to say about him. I guess not awful,
Right.
I forget what publication. Anyway, he brings that up. And he's like, yeah, no, I mean, he basically was like, he never said it to me. Like, I would have taught, like, we could have had a conversation about it, but he's like, I tried to reach out to him and apologize and all, but he doesn't really want to talk to me and stuff like that. And it's like fucking obviously.
No shit.
Yeah. And then, you have Commodore coming out saying, like, don't let Babcock's bullshit
He
apology
ain't let off
towards
the
you.
gas.
Yeah. He's like, fuck Babcock. Like, he can, yeah. And it's just, it does kind of suck that he's definitely going to get let back into the hockey world.
It kind of has, on a different scale, the similar thing with the D'Angelo thing where it's like the public and everyone's saying, like, look, we just don't kind of want this dude around. And the league's like, well, too bad.
They make his money.
And there you go. But I can't see with this much pushback that he'll sustain anything in the league, unless it really turns around in some way that changes people's minds. I guess I don't really see it happening. And at this point, unless there's new information about him, I kind of just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I would want to do right by guys like Franzen and Commodore who have legitimate issues and things like that. And then if they take them out, then that's a positive thing, I guess. But at the same time, it is what it is. I even said before, this article came out, everyone, they had Milbury, now they have Babcock. Everyone needs a villain. Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a different thing, but you get what I'm saying. That everyone needs a villain. Every story needs a villain, and he's ours right now. It's just that's just the way the fucking fucked up world works.
I'm not mad at LeBron. I saw a lot of people were pissed off at LeBron for even giving him the platform type of thing. That part, it's like, I mean...
Well, people were mad at Gail King when she interviewed R. Kelly.
Yeah, it's true, too. It's just kind of like...
It's part of his job.
Part of his job, someone's going to give him the platform,
Might as well be someone we all respect.
Yeah, have a guy that, that the people are going to listen to, that you have faith isn't going to
Suck his dick.
isn't going to sugarcoat the story coming out. Type of thing.
And he didn't. I think a lot of people's issues were that he didn't press him, but at the same time, as an interviewer, there's only so much, and there's a lot you agree on that people don't realize going into it.
Oh yeah, here's how it's going to go.
Here's what I'm going to ask you about, and there's a lot of understandings that take place that we're ignorant to. So it's just
And it's like what, and
you always hear that shit, right? Certain, especially radio stations. Oh, we're unfiltered and we ask our guests. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
There are questions vetted across the board
100%.
from all different publications.
A PR person goes over the interview before
the more
interview.
famous they are, the less shit you're allowed to do. That's
real.
just how it goes, man.
For real. And it's also, what are you really going to press them about?
Well,
I feel like
exactly.
the whole story's come out.
Yeah.
And it's, unless people just wanted another public flogging, which Babcock would never have agreed to do.
And that's why where I say I don't care anymore, because again, there's nothing new coming out. We know who he is. You're not going to change the network's mind of replacing him at this point. So, until someone does, this is what we have.
I'm not going to care again until he gets like a real coaching job somewhere.
Right.
Then it's like,
How the fuck
did
did this? Yeah, definitely.
But
So the Tyler Myers hit Armia, being deemed legal.
Yep.
And then
Which he got ejected from the game at the time of the hit.
right. So and this is just a talking point and just like some crazy inconsistency that we're already seeing with the player safety, the calls made on the ice, the choices to review things after the fact. We talked about before we started recording the hit from Komarov on Lars Eller was a 5-minute major. In my opinion, could have barely even been a 2-minute boarding call. The league didn't review it.
Yep.
And that all kind of makes a little bit of sense. And then you look at fucking the hit on Kotkaniemi by Dubé.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely clean clocked his face with his forearms.
Yeah.
And the player safety isn't even reviewing it.
Yeah.
No call made on the ice.
And going back to, I think it was Tyler Myers hit on Armia where they were saying the reason we're not going to review this, people are saying that the same thing's going to happen with the Dubé hit. The reason we're not reviewing this is because in the hit, you can see the player's upper body and head snap back at the same time. And if the principal point of contact was the head it would have snapped back on its own first.
But
and
it
it's
did.
like,
A, it did.
A, it did, and B, it's like, well, that's fucking dumb.
And I feel like without saying it, they also do throw in whether or not a call was made.
Yeah.
And that ref didn't flinch.
No,
You've watched the replay, the ref's like, ooh, yeah.
In fact, they called a penalty on Weber for standing up for Kotkaniemi. And it's just, again, it's the inconsistency of it all.
I want to touch on this real quick. Kind of not related to the player safety part of it. Fucking Paul Missed the Net tweeted out something about old-time hockey from all the shit that ensued afterwards and the hit itself. And people went after this motherfucker like as if he was the one who fucking hit him. And then we're trying to like say he was big-upping the play itself. Like saying it was like championing it is what people were saying. And could we just like address like there's no correlation between like this looks like shit in the 70s and then saying, yeah, I'm glad that guy got fucking caught up high. Those are not the same statements.
Yeah.
I just wanted this little side note I wanted to touch on. It was kind of weird. Like he got skewered.
Yeah, but that's
the internet.
That's the internet, and that's also what comes with
That's why you don't talk to MGK fans.
Yeah, that's why you don't talk at the end of the day. That's
really
what
day.
it comes down to. But it's again the inconsistency of it all with just. Because I don't even remember the hit at the beginning of the season. They gave the guy 2 minutes for it. I mean, it was almost an identical play behind the net to what fucking Dubé did to Kotkaniemi.
Right.
Like, if either don't call it or fucking call it. Like,
yeah.
And then you're not even going to have a hearing about it. It just
doesn't make sense.
Understand.
Yeah, George Peros needs to get the fuck out of there. I think that's a big part of the problem.
Do you think the league got together and they were like, listen, we have all this stuff going on where players going to be missing time with protocol and everything.
Let him play.
Do we want to make a concerted effort to take our hands off the game a little bit so we're not taking guys, as long as it's not quote unquote egregious. Well, I think the Dubé hit on Kotkaniemi is pretty egregious as far as breaking those rules. Yeah. But do you think they're like, let's try to not have more of an impact, change more shit?
You have never told a lie. That is dead on the case.
I could really see it because, like I said, I can't remember who it was because it was a Jets guy, right? The very first guy that got suspended.
Yeah,
and shit.
he got spent 2 games
And I can't remember his name
for the similar hit in location. Way less, from what I remember, it was way less dangerous looking.
Yeah,
and he got 2 games. Yeah, that was totally a thing.
And yeah, man, it's just
consistently inconsistent.
And yeah, but it's kind of fucked up. It's like, dude, like don't, because then is that gonna lead into more injuries if that's what they're doing? They're like, we don't want to affect it, so we're gonna let players play.
I mean, it goes back to with the way they did well with the bubble last season, but in general, the league has handled this pandemic and in tandem continuing the operations of the league so incredibly poorly.
Oh, 100%.
As a whole.
100%.
And this is, if that's
Feels
the case.
very thrown together.
Exactly. And if that's the case with what you're saying, then it's just another factor of that.
Par for the fucking course.
Exactly. And
Par for the fucking course.
Never surprised by this absolute joke of a league.
For real.
It really is. I mean, it's the best sport in the world. And year after year after year, it's done so poorly by this organization of owners and executives. It's unfortunate. I don't even blame Bettman necessarily. You know what I mean? I don't chalk it up to one individual. It's a group effort of minds that don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know any better, but as a viewer and a fan, They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
But what do I know? What do any of us know?
Absolutely nothing.
We're just the
We
experts.
Are the experts.
Um,
Speaking of shit
Good.
that no one but everyone saw coming, Patrick Laine and Jack Roslovic are traded to Columbus for Pierre-Luc Dubois and a third-round pick. And I think that's all.
What a
of it.
hockey trade.
What a hockey trade. Kind of crazy that because Laine was drafted second and Luc Dubois was drafted like
5th or 4th.
yeah, I think it was like
something.
fourth.
Maybe even 3rd, actually.
He might have been third.
Yeah, something like that.
And then those guys get traded for each other. Low key at just this point.
So take in consideration. Sorry to cut you off. Take in consideration PLD's like desire to be traded, and the very very slight bit of rumors with the Laine stuff. They got traded for each other, but I guess are you more surprised that Laine was traded? Anyway,
No,
or is it like kind of like both these guys should have been traded?
I think the Pierre-Luc Dubois one I think is more surprising because it seems like the deterioration happened this year,
Right.
where because he was a beast in
Yeah,
the
the whole
playoffs.
thing is more surprising. Yeah, for
and
sure.
then with the Laine thing, there's been the rumor swirling for
a long
yeah,
time.
for like seasons. It feels like now, so that's a little less surprising.
I guess which one did you think was more redeemable within its own organization?
It felt like Laine.
Right.
It felt like
That's
he
kinda-
was
yeah.
playing better. I mean, you were seeing last season like all the Ahos making jokes about
Like-
he back checks now, stuff like that. Like
Since we didn't trade him for Pesci, like I thought he was gonna stay. Like it was
Yeah.
the only way he would have left. Like
for real. And now he's up in Columbus.
not yet.
Not yet, I guess. Yeah, I think he touched down the other night.
Oh,
I
really?
saw a video.
Okay.
He still has another quarantine period. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
they had to work out. It took him a while to work out all the fucking move. I mean,
I
that's
know.
that's why we did the divisions,
I know
right?
it's hilarious that we were talking about before the season started. We were like, there's not going to be any trades between like Canadian and USA teams. Like the first trade,
First big
big
one, yeah.
blockbuster fucking trade between Canada.
Said,
and
I'll
the
show
US.
you.
I think right now at this point, I think Columbus is the winner.
All day.
I'm a big fan of that Roslovic guy. Still only 23 years old, center. Probably a second, third line guy, I would say. And then Laine, maybe he stays. Maybe they move him at the trade deadline for even more shit. But if he comes in, lights it up, and they go around and turn Laine into like 2 first-round picks and like a prospect or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And that means you turn Pierre-Luc Dubois into Roslovic 2 first, a prospect.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I think right now it's the Blue Jackets win with Laine. I still do stand on my belief that not that Dubois has a higher ceiling than Laine, but his highest potential is less capped than what we know Laine is to be. If that makes any sense, I think we know
what Laine is type of thing.
or where his ceiling is. Right, he sits up at this like mystical. I don't want to use the word Ovechkin, but this sort of like Brett Hull.
He sits in the elite goal scorer category.
Up there, right? Whereas I don't think a lot of us realize that Dubois is capable of a similar thing in respect to being a strong, incredible two-way center.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that we undercut him on, just in terms, again, looking at his potential.
He fought Crosby, dude.
It could be a winnable trade for Winnipeg
Oh,
in the future.
100%,
That's
100%.
definitely more
And
how
if
I
they
see
do
it.
end up, I guess he just signed a long. Did he just re-sign with Columbus? I feel like he just signed, maybe not a super long contract, but if Winnipeg ends up getting to keep him, I mean that's huge.
I think there's similar cap hits right now.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I just with the Laine and Columbus thing, I feel like Laine doesn't want to be in Columbus. More
It's the
than
fucking Winnipeg of America.
yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, he really did get moved from Winnipeg to Columbus, dude. That's rough.
Like it's like just as shitty, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But they don't care about hockey either.
Yeah,
So it's just like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
he's like, well, at least I was kind of a legend over
Like I
there.
still got Fortnite.
For real. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be cool to see.
It's
We'll
a
see
hockey
both of
trade.
them play. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to fucking see them play a game. Jesus,
For real.
Jesus.
They both go into protocol. God forbid.
Yeah, for real.
But like you know what I mean?
immediately.
Just worse to worse.
It was interesting with the Pierre-Luc Dubois thing, though. Did you see the interview after like the big game where everyone was like, "This, he has decided to stop playing."
Yeah.
And the Tortorella interview on the back of that, where he was just like, usually when interviewer or reporters would ask questions about that kind of stuff, Torts would give you like a real fuck you answer back. And he was like, I understand you have to ask that question, and I think you deserve an answer.
I'm not gonna give it to you though.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it to you. You should ask him, stuff like that. I don't know. It was just a completely different tone.
True.
Than I've ever heard.
Well, and also, in respect to that relationship, he goes back, and it's kind of boilerplate stuff, but he goes back and bigs up Torts and says, like, look, this had nothing to do with him as a coach necessarily. It just wasn't a fit for me as a whole. And he seemed to have a lot of respect for Torts. And there's a lot of guys who, though he has this sort of, Babcockian approach sometimes, to use a very harsh descriptive word, everyone ends up respecting him and always ends up thanking him for the type of player they become. That tough love shit can work really well when it's done right. I think Torts has just kind of always done that.
I think he's less of a. I think he's
tough but fair.
Yeah, I think he's just super fucking honest about just like everything and just not.
It doesn't rub everyone the right way.
To be a dick,
yeah.
He's like, you're fucking up. How about let's not fuck up?
I can relate to a lot of that in my life.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people who act like that, treat me like that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and you just got to fucking take the good with the bad when you have personalities that are that bold.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they get put in positions like Torts, whether it's the coach of a fucking NHL hockey team or someone who manages something and things like that. They're usually put in that position for a reason.
100%.
When they have that personality, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And some other shit. This is kind of more recent. Sam Bennett, Victor Met. Sam Bennett with the Flames. I think Met plays for the Sabres, if I'm not mistaken, or the Blues. He played for the Blues. He played for the Blues. They're both clients of Darren Ferris, I believe, who's the same agent who is the agent for Mitch Marner, famously sitting out for the contract negotiations. I think he has a couple other clients who went down a similar road. A lot of his clients, I think, request trades. Both Sam Bennett and Victor Met have requested a trade from their respective teams. And this fucking agent, man, he keeps his name in everyone's mouth as far as his clients.
Hops in their ears.
He does, dude. He's like fucking Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings. He's just talking to the King of Rohan, fucking him up. You do not know this person. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Sam Bennett's an interesting one. This is the same kid who, and I love just referring to this. He couldn't do a pull up at the combine.
Yeah.
Same kid. He was drafted second overall or some shit like that. His draft year. Head was kind of like a Patrick Kane comparison at the time.
Yep, and just never
really panned out.
The speed with it.
Yeah, he's just always been like a second, third line sort of center. I think he's really coming to his role.
He's redefined himself very well. As
a
hard grit, third line grinder kind of guy.
He's got a full beard now. Probably does many pull-ups.
Oh yeah. All he does, he's so traumatized by that.
But I'm sure Darren has, I'm sure his agent said, look, dude, this is where you were drafted. This is where you could be if you played on any of these teams. Why don't you ask to get out of there? And he's going to try.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting to see what happens.
I mean, I just don't think, Sam Bennett's a good player. I just don't think he fetches that much.
Me either.
To be honest.
Neither does Victor Met, who I think was kind of not in the same sort of prospect level, but regarded as just a young, up-and-coming player. Mm-hmm. I think he signed a little bit of a contract with St. Louis. That's why I think he's on that team. This was like right off the back of them either winning or right before they won the Cup, I feel like.
Look that up real quick. Victor Mete.
He either plays for the Sabres or the Blues.
He's
on the
Montreal Canadiens.
Well, he played for the Blues before that. On God. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't find it, so I'm right. That's how facts work.
This is the Wikipedia, but why can't I pull it? There it is. Okay.
It's going to show you.
Playing career.
Never even played for the Blues, did he? Not once, did he?
Not a single time, I don't think.
Not a single time? He drafted in
He was
Montreal?
drafted by the Canadiens, yeah. He's literally always been a Canadian.
Is there a Victor that currently or did recently play for the Blues?
That... we'll look at Victor, St. Louis Blues.
Bro, I swore, dude.
Who
am I thinking of?
Olofsson?
I think I'm thinking of Mott. Tyler Mott?
Tyler, you might be thinking of
I think I'm Tyler Mott, bro, who
Ty-
did play for the Sabres, who I think does play for the Blues.
Vancouver Canucks.
God damn it!
We drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks.
Son of a bitch! It's done.
He played for the Blue Jackets a little bit. We are
all right, come on, MGK fans.
experts.
Pour it on. Pour it on then, you fuckers. That's hilarious.
Speaking of pouring on, dude.
What really is, we're always just pulling it off the top. So if I was right, that would have been cool.
Yeah. It would have just been real nice.
Domi's a client of his.
Is he?
Darren Ferris. I just remember that. With you looking up all those teams, it made me remember. So similar situation there. Guys getting
Very
traded. You know what I'm saying?
Also a guy who played for the Canadians.
Yeah, I knew that. He started there. He played for Arizona first. I knew that.
And Columbus.
Yep.
Tony DeAngelo,
Dude.
no longer a New York Ranger as a, well, I guess he's still a New York Ranger. Put on waivers.
Yeah, put on waivers.
As of this morning.
Apparently, due to which all details are still coming out, allegedly, he got into a little tunnel fight, or I don't know if it was in the tunnel, but he got in a fight with a fucking teammate.
With Gorgiev.
Let's just dissect this for a second. We've played sports. We've never played anything as competitive as NHL hockey, but we've been on team sports. We've been on hockey teams. And if there's anything I've learned in the very short amount of time that I've played hockey, you don't blame your goalie for anything.
Yeah.
You just don't. He or she's the one player who's the only one. You know, you have backups and so on, but they're the one player doing that job. And they're very accountable for themselves and to themselves. They're very prideful for what goes down.
They're the last line of defense.
Yeah, and you don't fuck with that mental stability of theirs.
Yeah.
You don't get in their head when they're already having so many fucking pressures. I mean, come on, they're one of the few players in NHL in the NHL fandom that will get their names chanted by the whole arena, begging for them to fuck up. It's just, I mean, it happens to other players. Corey Perry gets it a lot, but the goalies get it hard from that.
Definitely.
You just don't fuck with your goalie. You don't bail on your goalie. You don't fucking shit talk your goalie. You don't hurt your goalie.
Yeah.
Shouts out Corrick. They fucking fought him. He fought his goalie.
Yeah, and apparently lost.
Oh, you know he lost.
The fight.
You know he lost.
And now he's on waivers, and
There's more details to come.
yeah,
We don't know
There
him.
has been the story came out from the Athletic, and it was basically just like, yeah, they fought.
This is what happened before,
Yeah.
statistically and factually.
He was on the ice for 4 of the 5 goals that game. Was on the ice in overtime when the game was lost. Apparently, it was a miscommunication between he and Gorgiev about a breakout pass.
And that
led
type of
directly to the
shit
goal.
is normal, right? I could see some miscommunication happening, and then you as the D-man talking to your goalie, not really probably blaming him, but just, being frustrated, both of you being frustrated, like what the fuck happened there. Again, not blaming the goalie, but having a bit of a discussion, and it could get a little heated. That's kind of par for the course. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't let it devolve into fisticuffs.
No.
He's your teammate,
No.
and again, he's your goalie, dude. Players, teammates fight. Fucking the Blues did it, and they won the Cup that same year. You see it at practice all the time. I think Subban just got in a fight with what's-his-face not too long ago. They're probably going to win the Cup now.
Miles Wood.
Thank you. But you don't do that with your goalie, man.
No, and it seems like, just based on track record, there's probably some tension in the locker room already. He kind of has the...
Oh, you mean him being a known
hothead.
racist?
Yeah. And he's kind of, but just in general, kind of being a hothead.
Right.
Fucking, he's probably a point the finger type of guy. Like, yeah.
Point the Italian hand
Those
gesture.
Italians. But so it's probably boiling over for a while, and
Yeah.
It's not like the Rangers really need him on that right side of the defense. They got Trouba, they got Adam Fox. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't. They have. I know they have a young guy that they're pretty excited about. Like maybe give him some third pairings looks. But do you think anyone's going to claim him? Do you think there's a team that's ready for that PR nightmare of saying no?
I think what we all expect is yes, because that's like what the NHL is known for, is just not really giving a fuck.
Yeah.
But I think this has enough attention on it where, unlike Babcock, and he obviously has nowhere near the same renown and reputation, where he's not going to get immediately any sort of legitimate second chance.
Yeah.
He'll clear.
It's so much, even going back to Babcock, which was bigger than hockey, but like this DeAngelo hate.
So is the stuff he does.
Yeah, the DeAngelo hate, it's just such a much fresher wound than like Babcock kind of just being a fucking
Facts.
bully versus like DeAngelo, like
Facts.
all the shit around that.
Yeah,
which we don't have to get into.
I mean, honestly,
We talked about
good fucking riddance.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's and we'll find out more and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, again.
100%, 100% going to be in Florida.
Outside of the hockey world, some other things that we've been keeping up with, entertainment, things like that. WandaVision episode 4 aired Friday. Not to really get too heavy in the spoilers, Jacob, you really should start watching if you haven't. Anyone who hasn't start watching. It's a great, great show. If you followed the end of the Infinity War saga, the way this is tying into it is beautiful, as
Sick opening.
as Marvel has been doing. the story's starting to get revealed, and more or less, a lot of what people were saying is the case where Wanda is essentially, establishing her own sort of pocket reality based on her inability to grieve with the loss of Vision, which is, that's not a spoiler of any kind. Vision's dead. We all saw him die in Infinity War.
You ain't seen Infinity War, figure it out.
Yeah, come on, figure it out. But you weren't sure where this whole thing fit in all that because he's fucking in the show. So she's having a hard time, and as a result of that, whether it's her own doing or she's just keeping it going, she's living in basically a fantasy world. And at this point, you're starting to find out that people are trying to infiltrate it to either help, for what we know, try to help, and then there's also probably components of people who have infiltrated who are trying to hurt. And where this can go that's the part that's most exciting. It can go anywhere. I mean, we're talking like I've seen stuff where this could be like, and there's no spoilers here. This is all theory stuff. This could lead to the origin of the Fantastic Four. This could lead to the origin of the X-Men. This could lead to the origin of a new segment of Avengers, new villains, like cosmic level villains and things like that. Just all kinds of sick comic book lore that they're masterfully tying into the movie canon. So it's all just done so fucking well. They just don't miss a beat. You know what I mean? They just don't miss a fucking beat. The Easter eggs are outstanding. Big recommend. Also, it's Sunday, which I don't know if you guys know. You're not caught up, but Attack on Titan new episode should air today. You gotta catch up. Man.
I'm working on it, man.
No, I say I need to too.
Okay.
What? How many episodes?
He's way behind.
How many episodes? Well, I'm
ahead of me.
Yeah,
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's ahead of me.
I watched this newest season. The only one I haven't watched.
Oh, okay.
I watched the full. Was it season 3? Right?
Yeah.
All of season 3. I just haven't picked up at season 4.
It's here.
I
You
know, I
can
need to
start watching.
I know I need to.
Megan and I think it was last weekend where we caught up on all the aired episodes, and I'm fucking craving for the rest of it, dude. It's coming to we've seen the show come to a head, right?
Oh, I mean, even in the last half of season 3, I was like,
whoa.
I was like, what the fuck?
Every minute of season 4, it has some boring filler but literally every minute is explaining like 10 other episodes shit that wasn't explained. There's so much information.
That's what I've been waiting for. Especially
here.
because I got Kenny, my buddy from college, the one who got me into it. I would be watching shit with him, and it'd be a season later, be like, wait a second though, what about that one thing? He's like, I don't know, man.
There's a few things that are still a little confusing. I think I just have missed them. But yeah, I mean, answers on answers to questions.
So where are you at?
So right now, I've pretty much finished season 2 in the past, but it's been so long that I'm kind of.
So you haven't even touched season 3.
That's the thing. I'm not positively sure. I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple episodes of season 3, but right now I'm rewatching, refreshing. Last night I got a good refresh on most of season 2. I think I have 2 more episodes of that left.
Yeah, you gotta.
I mean,
but the thing is,
would you say season 4 has been is it at the same pace of that last half of season 3 as far as just and here's that answer and here's that answer?
Yes, in terms of information, but in terms of action and all that, not action physical action, but pace.
It's a little slower.
It really just goes back and forth.
Yeah.
It'll be one episode of all, you know how the show does, where shit happens and then the next episode is the back filler to all that.
Yeah.
It does that a bit. But you're getting storyline ties up. This tied this up. This tied this up, and you're just fuck. And where it goes, we've hit the climax, and the climax is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And man, what a fucking thing it is, dude.
I can't. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I cannot wait because just that ended the end of season 3. I was like,
oh, that's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
That's the good thing is the cliffhanger stays there. Because I'm not going to say anything else other than the perspective kind of changes.
Okay.
So you're at first kind of missing a lot of, you're waiting for a lot to happen, but then at a point it all just converges.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit.
Fuck.
And that's all I'll say on that.
I definitely will watch it.
Xbox Live.
Tried to raise the price of their Xbox Live Gold
And
membership.
fans said, nah, dog.
Yo, what the fuck?
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
And they backed right back off that shit.
The market demands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. With me, dude, I've kind of been doing that. They did the 3 months for $1 a Game Pass thing, dude. I'm huge fan of that.
Yeah, Game Pass is sick.
Game Pass is sick, and now it comes with Xbox Live all wrapped into one. They've got the game share thing, so me and my girlfriend just game share Xboxes and shit.
Yeah.
Real cool system, but let's not raise the money on that. You know what I'm saying? It's
Nope.
right there, perfect, where I'm cool with the money I'm paying for what I'm getting.
I mean, goddamn, we already pay so much for our streaming services. You gotta fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I saw now. Recently, I saw a commercial. Paramount they're a production company. They're putting out their own streaming service for the things that they've produced.
Of course.
I mean, of course, but like it's that meta now.
Yeah.
Like they're not even a network. They're below the network in terms of who publishes, but they've cut out the middleman.
Like, it's us.
It's us.
They see how much money.
Like I'm not mad at it. It's just like.
Netflix was just getting away with a lot for a while, and everyone was like, "Well, how much?"
Wait a minute.
Well, they were like, "How much y'all fucking pay us again for that?" And you're making what? Well, we're gonna need all our movies back.
Yeah. Well, and
it's
also
gonna
on the same vein, kind of back into hockey shit. Some of you need to fucking realize your britches are a little too big. Fox Sports Carolinas, fucking nut up and sit there and pay the only networks that people actually watch. No one's gonna watch fucking AT&T cable. No one's gonna fucking switch to Dish because you don't want
to
to
get it. You feel me?
because you don't want to fuck Spectrum. But no one's going to switch to
100%.
any of that stuff because you don't want to pay Hulu or YouTube.
Yeah.
That's going to be where your fucking audience is. So you got to know where your audience is at a point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like when it's like The Office on Netflix, The Office doesn't need Netflix to be watched because people are always going to watch it on whatever it's on. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the case with fucking
all
Fox
this
Sports
shit's gonna
Carolinas.
fucking come full circle to where one company's gonna be like, well, let's put all of these streaming services onto one streaming service, and then you pay for your package.
Whoever can-
services.
Yeah, I mean, it's
all going to be cable TV.
In
again.
hindsight, it should have been easy to predict, but it's just going to replace the old school model of cable.
It's a capitalistic structure that will never not. That's how our system works. It's a capitalist
everything
structure
gets
that
consolidated.
monopolized.
Yeah.
like
Make more money.
that's just how it's gonna. Yeah, it'll go that way. It's just what it is.
Is what it is, and with things being is what they are, and going that way, Call
Dead
of
game.
Duty,
Dead.
Call of Duty,
Dead.
The hacking thing is just like it's always been a problem, and they obviously don't give a fuck. And recently it's come out that the whole stim glitch thing, which was letting you get to heal yourself forever in the storm and basically be wherever on the map, and just the game ends if the other player just fucking dies to the gas because they're not cheating. And they thought they got it out.
Came back like 3 more times.
Came back, and now it's basically only available to the hackers. And on this level, I almost I don't even blame the developers of the game where game breaking shit happens.
Whereas it's just more impressive how smart these hackers are.
How smart they are, but also it's all this could be handled by an anti-cheat. I think I really don't understand how it works if something like this, because
But you do know that you're a disappointed consumer. You know that
is
much.
true. But this, where they're hacking in a game mechanic that's only available in the campaign into the online game, and then doing a bunch of other shit after that. That I literally I don't even know. Does an anti-cheat catch that kind of thing? I literally don't even know.
I think there's different levels of it, and I think I forget the right terminology. I feel like there's a. I think I don't know the exact mechanics of how it would work, but there is a certain level of anti-cheat, not like software, but I think it's hardline into their networks servers and shit like that, where it could catch it. But
it's something that would be catchable, probably.
Right.
Probably.
It's just something, but it's also something they're just not even utilizing. So it's just it doesn't even matter.
No,
right?
it doesn't.
Because they're not utilizing any of it.
And it really fucking sucks. Because just I've dropped in and played a couple times here and there. Some with you, some solo, just to do it.
And you can have fun in the game.
And it really is the most balanced, from not taking into account the cheaters and game breaking stuff,
the
but
weapons,
as far as purely the gameplay of what's intended.
It's the most balanced it's been since the beginning.
For real, where it's
100%.
it seems like every time I get killed,
it's a different weapon.
It'll be a different gun, maybe maybe the same gun but different builds on that gun.
And that's all well and good if you aren't sit there if you're like me, you're just sitting there wondering. And I do blame a lot of the content creators for kind of instilling this philosophy, but I don't trust it. And the thing is there's a lot of people who are doing it to make a living off of it, and there's a lot of people who are doing it just to win. And the thing that I think that a lot of us fail to realize is that there's so many different types of hacks, and there's different tunings within those hacks, that people could be doing it in such subtle ways that it's not even making a difference for their gameplay to where they would get any notice or even want to get noticed, but they're not going to lose the gunfight.
Yeah.
And when that can exist, for me, it just gets to a point of like, I don't even want to fucking opt in because I just don't know who and how I fucking got.
Yeah.
And that's what can then ruin the fun. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
Because it's just,
definitely.
I question everything as it is, and then you introduce this to me, and I'm like, well, I give up.
Yeah.
I totally give up.
Also, I didn't know this. What doesn't help also, which just kind of reading through some stuff last night, the kill cams for Call of Duty are not replays of the game. They're a recreation, and the True Game Data did a whole thing on this. The ones you see right before you go to Gulag are actually sped up as to everything that was actually happened, because you have a place to go to respawn and the time limit to go fight again. So they speed up everything that happens and basically do a quick simulation of like the information they have is like, okay, the guy turned this way and shot at this point, and then but like it's not like
so that might skew people's perspective.
Of what's happening. And it's kind of, you look at a game like Tarkov where I'm sure that I've seen people talk about that there are cheaters, but
there are, but
you don't get the kill cam,
to
so
the
you don't
credit-
feel as screwed a lot of times, I feel like.
to the credit of way
And
smaller.
there's a lot more, obvious. I know like Tarkov's a way more in-depth game than fucking Call of Duty. but
Aside from
totally
any of the
different game.
details of how it's played or the ways you cheat in it, it's a smaller platform where the developer comes out on the regular and is consistently letting the audience know how many people they've banned. And they're
Yeah.
banning tens and tens of thousands of accounts on like weekly basis. So it's like
Sure.
it's a thing where just like anything else, you make another account, this, that, and the other.
Yep. And I wonder,
But the way this game's set up, it's not free.
Yeah.
You have to pay at least $40 to make a new account every time. That's diminishing returns for people.
and every time you get back on, obviously if you're hacking, it probably won't take you long to rebuild your stock of shit. But you are
You say that.
you are starting from ground one.
And you might get caught again really quickly.
Yeah.
This game, dude, to fucking even buy the game, I had to fucking like get permission from my bank because it thinks that you're fucking someone's trying to steal your information. Like
Really?
they don't fuck around. And that's just the base level difference in them being concerned for their consumer versus this AAA
Yeah.
developer. It's like it's just not even like to me, it's not even a comparable.
Yeah.
I've fucking consented support tickets to this developer and I get responses back on just stuff that like I'm curious about why this doesn't work. It's a game in beta, and they're giving me an explanation for something without me even really expecting it. Like that's just god tier
Definitely.
shit. When you compare it to a AAA developer who shouldn't even have these problems in the fucking first place.
Yeah, and to that angle, I think they're kind of that law of diminishing returns where like once you get so big, it becomes like that bureaucracy thing where as far as like, getting like patches done immediately, so like I can see how that gets slowed down just because the company's so big. You got to go.
Well, and also
this guy has to get permission from this guy, from this guy, from this guy, and then like this has to be quality checked and like all that shit.
Well, and a lot of people that bitch when like you're saying when it's that big, a lot of the people who are complaining about an issue are also a vocal minority. But
with the anti-cheat shit, I mean,
that's not the case.
Yeah,
that's
it's like
that's not the
literally
case in this. The
put the money
majority of
for it, yeah.
fans say the game sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like fix it
Fucking
or
put anti-cheat in. Fucking.
something. Just do
I mean, dude, just literally, so many of their problems would be solved by an anti-cheat. So many of their fucking problems.
people would start doing tournaments again. You would get more viewers, more people. It's fucked anyway. COD League is back though. That's sick. They had I don't know when the first kickoff is. I feel like I've already missed it. They've had a lot of shit going on, but they had the basically the preseason weekend last weekend, and fucking just a touching point there. Fucking Optic 3-0 to 100 Thieves, which was nasty to watch. Black Ops competitive is going to be sick. And for me, like especially when looking at all the shit that's going on with the NHL, and with this being like an online thing for the CDL, it's just such a refreshing, competitive entertainment platform. It's something I can just go watch, not have to hear about anything that doesn't involve the fucking game itself, enjoy it, and move on with my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just blessed for that.
That's huge. Do you think Dr. Disrespect's getting a CDL team?
He could. I think he can't do it alone. I mean,
You think
he's
he would
a
become-
rich man, but his
he'd
shit is
become
expensive.
The face of another team, probably.
I mean, it's like, yeah, he would definitely be like the face. Like for example, Hex is the co-owner, founder in NRG. Andy Miller is like the big backing corporate guy, but Hex kind of like is a face of
Yeah.
all that. It's kind of like a similar thing where I think Doc would sort of be that Hex, Hector
role, yeah.
Rodriguez sort of role. But it's like I think it is legitimately like a $10 million application fee. Like it's really expensive.
That's
like
fucking
it's
for what,
bro.
Honestly,
Well, it's franchising. You're franchising
That's
a city.
true.
That's
true.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
where it comes
yeah,
down
yeah,
to.
yeah. I'm
It's
sure there's a shit ton of paperwork going.
and
everywhere
people
for
really undercount how similar it is to professional sports in that regard.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I mean? Just
yeah,
from the billing standpoint.
yeah.
It's
And honestly, compared to like an NFL team, they would probably go, "It's only 10 million." Like we
Exactly.
fucking wish.
Was
our
it like what?
franchising fee was 10 million.
I'm pretty sure wasn't it like $100 million for the Seattle?
I think so.
You
Yeah,
know, Vegas,
It's
same
fucking
thing.
crazy. Yeah.
So you know, it is what it is. Speaking
cool
of
to see.
NFL,
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford, who at one
Traded.
point in time was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I remember that shit. It was just like,
Yep.
yeah, you play for the Lions. Doesn't even make any sense. But quarterbacks, right?
Traded to LA Rams
For the Goff.
For Goff, 2 firsts and a third. I'm pretty sure.
It felt so funny.
They just like traded QBs. I mean, LA, I'm sure is pretty stoked. Matt Stafford.
LA fans seems excited.
And for Matt Stafford, I mean, you're going to a team that has a really good. I mean, you're going to a really good team. Like you have the chance to go fucking get a ring.
And Goff, you have a chance to start over.
Yeah, a fresh start. I mean, they're not a great team.
Is Matt the former coordinator for the Pats? He's still a coach.
I think he might actually be returning to the Patriots.
No shit.
Low key.
That would
I
make
may have
sense.
that mixed up. Anyway, but yeah,
I don't know.
it's
Fuck
just-
the NFL.
Yeah,
It was a trade that happened.
Yeah,
though.
it's a big trade. Big names. going back and
This
forth.
doesn't happen often.
Really,
This actually never
It
happens.
does not happen in the NFL. You don't see player for player trades on this
Starter
level.
for starter?
Yeah, you don't.
Never.
You never see it.
Same position.
Because fucking
never
Because
happens.
careers are so fucking short in the NFL.
That is very
you
true.
You only have like 3-4 years of a guy in his prime.
That's a good point. Isn't Matt Stafford like going to play for like one more year?
Probably.
You
I mean,
know?
he's got a lot of injuries.
He's made his money.
fucking- Oh yeah. But
boys,
boys,
it's been a long one. I gotta go pee.
Take a deep breath.
Did we do it?
I think we did it.
Jacob,
What's up, dog?
if they want to fucking go over all this shit we just talked about, if they want to fucking give us an idea for episode 100, if they want to give us an idea for a new bit, because we need one. Quick technical difficulty, Jacob.
What's up, dog?
We're gonna get us if they want to get us.
If you want to pile on top of those MGK fans and Josh's
Fuck.
mentions, please hit us up at Talkin' Sauce Pod. No underscore. Respect the underscore. If you're watching, like, subscribe. If you're
Dude,
listening,
he said that fucking Puffy killed Pac, dude. What do you mean, dude? What do you mean, dude? Get out of my face, dude.
And then just said I'm kidding.
JK.
That's MGK's boss.
It's true.
I'm done, dude. I'm
If
done.
you're listening,
Ruined his
check us
career.
out on YouTube. If you're watching, check us out. All the streaming services. You can get me at JCobb, JAY_COBBB. Josh.
You can get me at Teebs, TEABZZ.
Fucking pronunciate
I'm enunciating
them
that shit.
Son.
Bring the smoke.
Dylan.
You can find me on Reddit at UTBags your mom 69420 lowercase x capital X is UTBags your mom 69420 lowercase x capital X.
Where's your Twitter, bro?
What's your Twitter?
I'm alternate.
You're gonna
You can catch me
alternate?
on one and catch me on the next, bro. You can't find me in one spot.
We're gonna fire Dylan.
This has been 99.